Mr. Speaker, I rise today with humility and resolve as the Parliamentary Secretary in this Honourable House to contribute to the debate on Budget 2026. I do so fully conscious of the weight of public office, but deeply committed to the people of Guyana. Budget 2026, aptly themed Putting People First, is far more than a financial document. It is a blueprint for dignity, as together we, the people of Guyana, chart the path forward for our nation's prosperity. Mr. Speaker, it behooves me, therefore, to commend the Honourable Member, Dr. 𝐃𝐄𝐁𝐃𝐄𝐁, Senior Minister within the Office of the President with responsibility for finance, and his able team of committed professionals who have dedicated their time and effort toward the articulation of the vision of this administration to prioritize the interests of the Guyanese people in this Budget 2026. It is unfortunate, Mr. Speaker, that there are members of the opposite bench of this august House who, despite receiving talking points for budget debate and guidance and estimate process, have chosen to demonstrate a wanton disregard for the people of this country. Mr. Speaker, when the Honourable Member Natasha Singh Lewis can stand in this House and declare that the NBS is an inconsequential financial institution, it becomes evident that adequate and affordable housing for the people of Guyana is not a priority for the members of the opposition. It is unacceptable, and I'm appalled that an honourable member would reduce the New Building Society to inconsequence on the basis of a personal account matter, when this institution has helped thousands of Guyanese secure homes, lowered mortgage burdens, and expanded real access to home ownership. The value of the NBS is measured not by one individual's grievance, Mr. Speaker, but by its proven role in strengthening household stability and advancing home ownership for the people of Guyana. It is limpid that in the heart and mind of this honourable member, home ownership should not be made affordable for the Guyanese people, because to her, perhaps, Mr. Speaker, the people are inconsequential. That's right. Mr. Speaker, an exciting future beckons for all Guyanese, for which Budget 2026 sets the tone. Putting people first. It is evident in the strategic choices this government has made across housing, education, healthcare, and infrastructure. It ensures that Guyana's historic growth is not a distant headline, but a tangible reality felt in the classrooms and felt in the kitchens of every Guyanese family. Mr. Speaker, while this may be my first contribution, and it is, as a sitting member of Parliament, it is not my first experience in the arena of public service. I come from a village on the west coast of Demerara named Iflat. As an Afro-Guyanese woman, deeply proud of my heritage, I walk with my ashe. I was shaped by a community that understands struggle, values perseverance, and demands dignity. For many years, Mr. Speaker, I served in politics with conviction. Through that journey, I learned a difficult truth, that some political spaces prioritize narrow loyalty over national progress. I learned that true service requires the courage to move where one's contribution can be fully realized for the benefit of this nation. Today, I sit with the People's Progressive Party Civic Administration, not as a singular gesture, but as a partner in progress. Let me be clear, Mr. Speaker, this government has demonstrated that Afro-Guyanese leadership belongs at the highest levels of decision-making. There is no ceiling on contribution in this administration. There is no exclusionary ownership of opportunity. My presence here reflects a political culture that values ability and commitment to country over the divisiveness of the past. Budget 2026, Mr. Speaker, reinforces this inclusive vision by placing a historic emphasis on youth development and skills training. We are sending a message to every young Guyanese. You do not have to wait for the future. Your time is now. You are being equipped to build your lives and contribute to Guyana's development now. Investing in our youth is not a slogan. Mr. Speaker, it is a strategic imperative. We are measuring our success not by the volume of rhetoric, but by the results in our communities, by the jobs created, the small businesses launched, the families uplifted through investments in agriculture, TVET, business development opportunities, the orange economy, manufacturing and other sectors, the continuation of which Budget 2026 robustly supports. Mr. Speaker, I turn my attention now to the maritime sector. Maritime sector development, Mr. Speaker, since 2020 has been fueled by the vision of His Excellency Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali and has been supported by every budget since then and now Budget 2026. Mr. Speaker, Guyana has seen a 67% increase in vessel traffic, or port calls, as we say in the maritime industry, from 2020 to 2025. This increase is recognized as an indicator of the value and impact of this government's aggressive positioning of the maritime sector as a cornerstone of national development. This bold and ambitious undertaking instructs the development of a comprehensive and robust regulatory, legal, and institutional framework. We have prioritized the modernization of our maritime laws and regulations. We've sustained technical capacity building, the strengthening of our current institutions and establishment of new ones, such as a modern port authority, that will bring the sector into right alignment with established global standards and best practices, embracing innovation and increased efficiency for safe, secure, and sustainable shipping. The Honorable Member Amanda Walton Desir and I am disappointed that she's not here this evening. But she clamored, Mr. Speaker, for a modern port authority, which she claims is not provided for in this budget. Perhaps, Mr. Speaker, what the Honorable Member is calling for is a promulgation of an instrument drafted in December 2017. I understand that she might have had some input, which purports to be the Port Authority Act of Guyana, which, when examined upon my return from the International Maritime Law Institute in Malta in 2018, when I examined this draft, Mr. Speaker, it was found wanting.
You're being polite.
I examined it against our national maritime landscape and, of course, the international standards and recommended practices which were fresh in my mind. This draft is woefully inadequate. Mr. Speaker, if I may read just the long title for this Honorable House. This is the Guyana Ports Act. The long title reads, Mr. Speaker, an act of Parliament to provide for the establishment of an authority to be known as the Guyana Ports Authority, for the transfer to the authority of the undertakings within Guyana of the Transport and Harbors Department, for the functions of the authority and for purposes connected therewith. Mr. Speaker, port functions are not vested in the Transport and Harbors Department, not in Guyana, perhaps in Nigeria or Ghana.
Where she copied that from?
Port functions have not been vested in this agency since the promulgation and enactment, sir, of the Guyana Shipping Act of 1998. So this clearly was not drafted for us. I wish to pause, Mr. Speaker, to recognize the tireless efforts and commitment of the staff of the Legal Division of the Maritime Administration Department and the Ministry of Legal Affairs, who are crafting a comprehensive legislative blueprint. It is important to listen, rapt attention. The language may be technical, but the thesaurus is available on Google. Commitment of the Legal Division of the Maritime Administration Department, Mr. Speaker, and the Ministry of Legal Affairs, who are crafting a comprehensive legislative blueprint, including a modern Port Authority Act that will reflect acceptable global standards of operation, oversight, and regulation. A blueprint that will guide the maritime sector for decades to come. Mr. Speaker, this is no easy undertaking, but we have acquired the requisite technical capabilities to get it done and get it done right. This is not a mere exercise in cut and paste. It is a systematic procedure that is designed to transform complex obligations enshrined in the Maritime Pillar Conventions in its scope and to which Guyana is a party. These must be transformed into clear and consistent national laws. This is in stark contrast, Mr. Speaker, to what obtained between 2015 to 2020. You will listen now. What pervaded, sir, was an attitude of contempt for the sector, evidenced by the failure to align the MARAD to effectively function in its role as a principal regulator of maritime activities.
That contempt wasn't confined to maritime.
And a refusal to configure an administrative infrastructure that contemplated the network of public sector agencies and private sector stakeholders with individual and shared responsibilities for various segments, directly and indirectly relative to the conduct of maritime affairs. I was also there in 2020 running the Region 3 campaign, gaining 25% increase in votes, a seat you occupied, Honorable Member, that you failed to retain at the last elections. That is why you are there among the 12, and you keep wondering every time you look at each other, is it me, Jesus? Is it me, Jesus? But Judas shall be revealed. Further, Mr. Speaker, even after adequate notification from the International Maritime Organization that mandatory audit amendments to the IMO treaty would enter into force in January 1, 2016, and that Guyana would be subject to this audit scheme in 2018, the AP and new AFC government, clearly callous in their administration of the sector, as with everything else, failed to implement the requirements for verification of compliance. Hence, during the conduct of the audit from February 10 to 19, 2018, Guyana recorded 19 findings. 19 strikes, Mr. Speaker. Principally, the audit found that although the state lacked the requisite technical and legal personnel for the effective implementation of maritime conventions, there was no utilization, absolutely no utilization of available external options for the facilitation of the process. Mr. Speaker, the auditors also found that maritime affairs were not at the time, listen to this, Mr. Speaker, maritime affairs were not prioritized at the national strategic planning level. Further, there was a use and a reliance on an archaic management system, and there was a lack of a policy relative to retention of maritime information. I'm not surprised. Perhaps the Honorable Member David Hines, Dr. David Hines, and myself might have the only two visible copies of a destiny to mold, because record keeping is not their forte. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, the audit also found that as a result of a lack of relevant technical capacity, especially the absence of adequately trained maritime legislation drafters, the administration had not developed the relevant policies and guidelines to aid the implementation or enforcement of IMO instruments to which this state, the state of Guyana, is party. Consequently, the implementation mechanism to enable the effective discharge of the administration's responsibilities and obligations was incomplete. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what the audit also found. There was no effective mechanism as stipulated by the international organizations, the IMO, the IHO, and the WMO, to ensure that messages related to the safety of navigation were made readily available. Mr. Speaker, we come to 2020. From the onset of his first term as President, His Excellency Dr. Irfan Ali has prioritized the transformation and modernization of the maritime sector. Thereupon, for the enhancement of navigational safety and efficiency for maritime, we have embarked on an aggressive program to construct over 30 navigation markers along the Essequibo River and key navigational aids in the Demerara River, and you will catch feelings for Irfan, and he not catch feelings for himself. Since 2020, we have acquired 3 new pilot boats, Arapaima, Hayama, Hayakwa, that represent more than an upgrade in speed and efficiency. And they herald a new standard in maritime safety and service. Much unlike the second-hand David P., acquired in 2018, the one time I had a voice and I said, do not buy that vessel. They said, Mr. Speaker, go back into your back office. And they misrepresented to us that this was a new vessel. And the David P., honorable member, the David P. pen, in conclusion, pen, the David P. was not fully operational due to mechanical issues. We fixed it because we did not want for taxpayers' dollars to be wasted.
Honorable member, you have 5 minutes to conclude.
These newly built vessels are part of the government's plan. These newly built vessels, Mr. Speaker, are part of the government's plans to modernize MARAD's fleet, which will soon be expanded to include a modern hydrographic survey vessel and a specialized vessel designed to maintain, deploy, and replace navigational buoys and beacons. Mr. Speaker, we are building and will soon operationalize in order to fulfill our responsibilities under the National Search and Rescue Plan, a Maritime Rescue Coordination Center in 2026. We not only boast of marine asset acquisition, we have improved technical and administrative capacities within MARAD, appointed a registrar of ships and a registrar of seafarers in compliance with the Shipping Act of '98, both of whom are World Maritime University trained. Our hydrographic unit, we have improved the quality of staff by training them, not replacing them, in applied and exploration geology, marine cartography, and category B hydrographic surveying. We have a port administrator, a marine environment compliance officer, a port engineer, all trained at the World Maritime University. And we have within our arsenal lawyers trained to transform maritime conventions into national laws, all trained by Emily Malta. Mr. Speaker, we have assigned, in fact, we have designated a representative, a prominent rep to the IMO, and we have several focal points from various technical areas across the sector. And we will continue to build our maritime capacity and infrastructure so that when we have that follow-up audit, Mr. Speaker, we will register 19 stars. Mr. Speaker, let me also tell you, all of our investments have not gone unnoticed. The Caribbean has recognized, the IMO has recognized Guyana as a critical maritime state, and this year we will host for the first time 2 major regional maritime conferences, the 31st meeting of the Caribbean Port State Control Conference and the 5th regional meeting of the heads and directors of maritime agencies. Mr. Speaker, I wish to conclude. Guyana's prosperity must be as resilient as its people. This budget manages our resources with a steady hand, ensuring our growth is shared fairly and protected against global uncertainty, the LCDS. To the youth of Guyana, I now speak to you directly. Your potential is our greatest national asset. This government is chosen to invest in you deliberately. And to the people of Guyana, my people, representation matters most when it leads to results. When we create space for diverse voices, our one Guyana becomes an unbreakable reality. I am proud, Mr. Speaker, to serve in a government focused on national unity and responsible leadership. If I may paraphrase, Mr. Speaker, the wise words of Kirk Rodin, popularly known as Da Vinci, on behalf of the Guyanese people, who this government will continue to prioritize, and say to the honorable members on the opposite side of this House, who boldly and vociferously stand against this government, determination and efforts to put people first. You are go vex, you know we bless. You see the success. You see the shirt, you see the pants, but we not done press. Mr. Speaker, I commend Budget 2026 to this honorable House. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. And now for the Honorable Member, Ms. 𝐁𝐔𝐃𝐄𝐁.
Good evening.